Welcome back to Review, Reroll, Refill, the podcast where craft beer meets nerd culture. I'm Will Matthews from Beerploma.
And I am John Leingang from Mile Brewing Co. here in Bloomington, Minnesota.
We're coming to you live from the tap room here on June 19th. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. We've got an absolute powerhouse of a lineup for the episode 2. Today we are tapping into some incredible brews, untapping some Magic the Gathering talk, and rolling the dice for our favorite board games. So grab your playmat, set up your meatballs, and let the bartender know that you need another pour. It's time to review, re-roll, and refill. Let's get into it.
Heck yeah.
Did you like that opening?
I did.
Okay, so first off, you really want to start a new tradition here on episode 2.
I do.
Okay, so what am I looking at here?
This is called an Underberg. They're made in Germany. They're little tiny bottles, about 20 milliliters. They are billed as natural herb bitters, so like a digestif, as it were.
What is the other word for it? Aperitif or something?
Yeah,
like that? Yeah,
you
kind
can
of
do that too.
Okay.
So it's very much like aniseed, like caraway-ish. Maybe not exactly, but think in the vein of that. I don't know. I don't actually know exactly what's in here, but in the brewing industry, I don't know if it's everywhere. It is to a certain degree, but the density of places that do it, whether it's selling it it's like selling it in your tap room, in your restaurant, whatever. But it's something to do a cheers, to rally around for whatever reason. So when we have guests here, whether that's you, other friends, other vendors, other brewers, other industry people, we'll ask, you want a Berg? Do you want an Undie? Do you want an Underberg? Like, it's got a bunch of different names. And a lot of people are like, sure. And the people don't, they're like, I don't know what that is, but I'll try it.
Just don't tell Bob that I did this because he's been trying to get me to do one of these for a while.
Okay, he'll find out. All right, cheers. So you clink, you hit the table like most of us do here in Minnesota. And then getting this out of here, everyone does it differently because that hole is very small. I create, I'm going to sound like a huge nerd, a vortex. I'll just spin it while it's up and let it just come out. Some people, it is choose your own adventures.
Okay, so let's do this properly here now. Prost.
There we go. Up and down. And then up.
Oh, whoa. I like black licorice. I do. I really do. Whoa, that's got a burn to it.
Oof. So I know people that have many of these a day.
Oh my goodness.
And I wasn't out at hop selection. I've never went out to. The TLDR on that is if you have the means and really the money to head out west to either the Yakima or Willamette Valleys, there's a lot of different hop vendors and growers, selectors, everything out there. You can go choose your lots of hops. You can rub hops that are just off the vine or ones that are gently processed, break it open, smell inside the lupulin glands, be like, yes, because all hops aren't created equal. So you have different lots of Citra, Mosaic, Simcoe, Cascade, whatever. You rub, you find what you like, you write things down on paper as far as aromatics and whatever kind of charting a certain place has for what you like out of this thing. All that is to say is I had a few friends go out there this last year where everyone had Underberg. Everyone just simultaneously not planned on it, brought Underberg with them. So at night after selection was done, it's a couple days, go to local watering hole or back to someone's hotel room, and it was just Berg after Berg. I heard from a friend, it was too many Bergs. I'm like, is that actually a thing? There's too many? There is. You can have too many. But now that you've had it, yes, it's very much like aniseed, black licorice.
But also very herbaceous.
Yes.
And it's not, when you first taste it, you think this is going to be like a real heavy thing, but it really it's not. Despite the fact that it's got a real thick, herbaceous flavor profile going on with it, it doesn't hit you in, and I'm just talking about the flavor profile. There's definitely a real strong alcoholic, astringent isn't the word I'm looking for, heat to it.
Yeah, it's sharp.
It's sharp. But then it just kind of mellows out and just kind of leaves this lingering anise flavor.
Yes. And I've heard a couple years ago, back when I had some, but not as voraciously as I do now, some claimed upset tummies. Take this, give it a few minutes, and I'm like, whatever. So I took one home and saved one just for that occasion. And I had a night, I don't know, it was too much lasagna or something like that. And after a couple hours, I'm like, I feel terrible, and had one of these. Gave it about 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's placebo because I know people do that, or if it actually helped, but either way, it did something.
But a placebo effect that's your brain kind of just kind of rewiring your whole system. So, I mean, if it works, right?
And then these caps that are on here, they're just little green caps with the Underberg logo. You save them and you can trade them in for merch and goodies and knickknacks.
Oh, so it's kind of like the old Marlboro points.
Yeah. And because between...
for all the Gen Xers and Boomers out there.
Between Bob, myself, and a couple other people that... Oh, I hope this isn't for me right now, this delivery. We'll see.
We are here at 9 Mile on a brew day.
Tearing out the window at a truck that might be for me. We'll see. But anyway, these caps, you save them up and redeem them for cool stuff.
Cool. Cool.
Anyway, after getting sidetracked with Underbergs, I just figured that'd be something fun to do before or during the very start of each episode. Got to have a tradition. Got to have a thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
And it resets your palate if you give it some time. So if there's something you had beforehand, because we are eventually going to try beer later, so it's going to reset your palate.
Love it.
Functional.
Cool. What's new in the magic world for you? I know Secrets of Strixhaven has come out since we did our last episode, which was just a wonderful, brilliant set.
Love it. I very much like it. After getting my booster box from a certain somebody I might know.
I am his resident dealer.
Yes, you're my cardboard plug. Thank you again for that. My wife and I did our little crack and rip between the two of us, and she made out like a bandit way more than me. It was hard not to get frustrated, but I was really happy with what she got too, because she was able to augment some decks, build a couple new ones around it. I got some good stuff too, but I remember in the middle of it towards the end, she kept ripping. I think she got 2 or 3 of the Elder Dragons out of the colleges. I just got up and had to go outside, take a break because she was laughing at me.
Aww.
I came back in and I was like, I'm not mad. It's just the sheer luck. It's actually pretty awesome. She pulled all that stuff.
So I suppose now's not a good time to tell you that I opened up 2 collector boosters of Secrets of Strixhaven, and one of them contained the Silver Scroll ad nauseum.
You got the better one.
The Force of Will and the Vampiric Tutor still cleared that one. I think it was number 3 or number 4 on the Silver Scroll hit list.
That's awesome. I'm glad.
I know it's not every day that you get to add like a $300 card to your collection.
No. And even the standard one I pulled out of the couple collectors boosters we were able to snag early on, still depending on where you're looking, anywhere between $55 and $80.
Oh yeah,
so. But yeah, It's been a fun set, and I've been trying to gobble up as much as I can, but they are out everywhere, and when any LGS gets it, they're gone. I've been finding them in Barnes and Noble the other day. I had both my kids there.
You found collector packs there?
No, or just regular play boosters. The behind the counter, I was like, hold on, when did you guys start carrying TCG?
Yeah, it was at the Source and Tower were both out. Recently, very recently.
I was just there on Wednesday. I was at the Maplewood Mall with both of my kids, and we were at Barnes checking out Isla. My youngest got a little book. I promised her I owed her a book like 2 months ago, and she reminded me.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
So we go there to check out, and I just stumbled. I was like, wait, when did you guys start carrying Magic the Gathering?
Oh, they've always had for a long time.
This location, we just got this amount of them. There was a ton of it there.
Okay.
There were, they had boxes. I don't know if they were selling them as boxes, but they had Strixhaven and Lorwyn and Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man, for whatever your opinion is on those, like the last 4 sets of stuff, and lots of them. I'm like, so do you guys have a limit? They're like, yeah, 2. I'm like, that's fine. I'll take the 2 I can get.
Nice.
It's been tough to find them for good reason.
Yeah.
The set I love it.
Yeah, it was a really good set. Now I feel that for the last year, the UB sets or the Universes Beyond sets, that's where they take, for those who are not into Magic, that's where they take another IP from another company and make a set out of it. And so far there's been like Fallout, Doctor Who, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But they were like really good bangers when they first started out. Warhammer 40K did really well. Doctor Who did really well.
Lord of the Rings.
One of the most popular sets that came out in the last 5 years.
Final Fantasy.
But ever since Final Fantasy was like the last really good one, but then you take a look back at it, you had Spider-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, just not really doing much. And now we're on the cusp of, I think, Marvel pre-releases this weekend.
For Marvel superheroes,
Yeah. What are your thoughts on all that?
I've seen some content creators online with early release stuff they were able to get and showcasing some of the cards, some of the mechanics. It is a bigger set. It's bigger than either Ninja Turtles or Spider-Man, which is nice. It's like a full set. And so far, the things that I've seen in there, I'm liking. I don't know if I'm going to go all in and go ham on it, but I'm definitely going to buy some of it because I was curious about Spider-Man, curious about Ninja Turtles. I bought a couple packs a piece.
The only thing I liked about the Spider-Man one is it was really fun to kind of crack those packs and see characters that I hadn't seen in the comic book world for like ever. So from a Spider-Man fan, I really enjoy. And I also, in my one collector pack that I bought of that one, I did get the foil Miles Morales one, who is my absolute favorite iteration of Spider-Man. So I really loved that one. But outside of that, it's just, I'm not hearing every time we try to do something with it at Midcoast Gaming and stuff like that, it's very lackluster response to it.
Yeah. It's just one of those, it is what it is. Hit or miss, depending on your opinion. I know some people that love both sets, some that are indifferent, some that really don't like it. Just kind of, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. So I'm sure I'll be hanging out with my Whatnot guys on next week. I'll cracking packs with them.
Speaking of, that is something I do want to learn more about. You have mentioned it before.
Should I put it on pause?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I suppose we should caveat that we're going to be kind of a little bit disjointed today between topics because of the fact that it is a brew day today.
Yes. So if I sound a little distracted at some obvious transition points, that's probably why.
But I get to be here for the birth of my favorite beer. So Pub Ale has been my favorite beer forever. I know we did a little bit about that on one of my other podcast shows called Wandering the Weekend, because it is one of the most brilliant beers that are out there in the Minnesota market.
I appreciate that. Pub ales are a hard sell. Luckily here, I get to make it enough for it to be a core beer. It's the slowest moving of the 4 core beers, but I still have to make it at a steady clip. And there's a cult following. Besides you, there's some city employees that really like it. They'll come in and just order a round of them. There are a couple regulars that's at least their first thing they got to have before they move on. So if I can get just every once in a while a new person to try an English dark mild, and we don't call it that because not a lot of people, that doesn't mean anything to anyone.
Yeah.
So in English brewing and bartending and serving culture, you call something pub ale over there. It could be anything from an ordinary bitter up to a mild and everything in between. So we just chose to call it house pub ale because this is our house version of our pub ale, which just happens to be a dark mild.
Yeah. And we're going to be sampling some of that a little bit later today.
Oh, yes.
But so what were we talking about? We were talking about magic and Whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah. So Whatnot has been something I've been into over the last month. And what it is, and you can go on there for tons of stuff, but from a Magic the Gathering perspective, you go online and you can buy packs and they'll crack the packs open right in front of you and they'll show you the cards that they have and then they'll ship them out to you. So it's a really cool way. First off, I find that if you look hard enough, the LGSs will run out of collector packs pretty much once a new set comes out. These guys always have a constant stream of it somehow. Not entirely too sure. And so
don't look behind the curtain.
So I always like to buy 2 or 3 collector packs for each set. It's my lottery tickets.
Yeah.
I just do it for the fun of it. And so it's the easiest way to get my hands onto collector packs because usually the day after a set comes out, the collector packs are gone from the local stores. And you're still supporting local stores. These aren't big, giant corporations that are doing it. Sure, Whatnot gets a little bit cut of that, but for the most part, you are still supporting local game stores and stuff. Big shout out to Roadrunner Cards and Collectibles. They're the stream that I've been following the most. And one of the other things that they do is they do these things called breaks. And that's where they get a huge pool of packs. And sometimes it's all from one set. Sometimes it's from different sets and a mix of sets. And then break the packs open and then they dole it out in various ways. And the 3 main ones are color breaks, where you buy a random slot and then you get all the cards of that color, combination of colors, artifacts, or whatever. There's digi breaks, which is where they take that little collector number that's at the very bottom of the card. And so there'll be 10 slots, so 0 to 9. And whatever the card ends in, that card ends up in your slot. And they dole that out randomly. I can't just come in and say 7. Because otherwise, knowing that the force of will in that set is on slot number 7, you get randomly assigned a number. And I've done pretty well with the digi breaks too, but they do Roadrunner Cards and Collectibles. They do a real interesting one. And they take every card that's worth over $5, assign it a number, and then they shuffle up that pile of numbers and then dole that out into spaces. And then they dole out all the commons, then all the lands, and then all the rares that didn't meet the criteria. So everybody kind of gets a fair pile, and everybody gets a shot at what they call the banger cards.
Yeah.
And I've done very well through that one. So I've gotten, what did I pick up? I picked up an Enlightened Tutor the other day from, not Ravnica, Dominaria Remastered.
Oh.
And a lot of other really good cards. So I think I picked up at least 4 of the dragons from SOS, or for Secrets of Strixhaven from doing that. And most of them are collector packs.
Okay.
And what the fun part is, the community at Roadrunner Games, they'll do giveaways. And most of the time during the stream, they'll be doing the stream and people will be chiming in comments, goading each other, talking about their favorite decks. And so there's more than just them cracking packs. This can be like a 4 or 5 hour process. It's a great thing to listen to while I'm sitting there doing spreadsheets at work.
Hey, spreadsheets.
And what's really fun about that one is then if somebody gets one of these giveaways, most of the people in that community, they'll just say, add it to the break. So all of a sudden you start out with 15 packs in the break, but you might end up with 30 packs in the break. I haven't seen it go up to that much, but pretty darn close.
That's a nice escalation.
Yeah. And what's great is everybody pretty much walks away with at least one good card from their banger list. And I've seen them also, they're also super generous too, where if you get 2 of the weaker bangers that are more down at the $5 range, they'll give you an extra pack.
Oh, man.
And stuff like that. So they're really good. And it's not too bad. So it's about $47 per hit.
Okay.
And like I said,
bad.
I've gotten my other 2 Silver Scroll cards I got from their break. So I can't remember what they are. The Ad Nauseam I pulled by buying that pack directly and having them open it up. But the other ones, the other 2 that I got in my collection, both came from those breaks.
Yeah, you've mentioned Whatnot to me a couple times recently. And then for the past year, shout out to Tulare Community College and the professor, because he also talks about that a fair amount. And that's the first time I was introduced to it. I'm like, I wonder if I know anyone that does this. And I thought went to you right away, but I forgot to ask the first time I saw it. Just out of sight, out of mind. But from seeing his promotion of it, and then from hearing from you, and then some of the things you've just showed me personally quickly, it's something I've been meaning to do, but like a lot of things, just get busy with work and everything else and totally space it out.
And I try to stay away from the big mainstream ones. I like the little community vibe that's there with Roadrunner Games. Normally you'll see maybe 20, 25 people on a stream at any given time. And so I like the smaller communities where I feel like I would get drowned out on something with the professor who constantly has probably at any given time.
I'm just glad that he brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
With like a lot of the other stuff that he does promos for, I'm like, I didn't know that existed. That's cool. I'll check into it myself.
Is it the same as cracking a box? No. Is it the same as cracking open a collector booster? I think it's actually better because of the fact that, come on, when you open up a collector booster and you get one of those banger hits like an Ad Nauseam, you want to brag about it a little bit. And here you got your own little audience that's captivated and has to watch you open up the banger cards. Or even better yet, when you end up stealing the big card off of a break, that number 1 card. Well, I can't remember the name of the other Silver Scroll that I ended up getting. It was about $80. But I remember when that one hit my pile and it's like, everybody's like, yeah, go soft. That's my nickname on the channel. But
cheerleading. Yay.
It's kind of fun to open those packs in community because you got that captive audience to watch you do this.
Was I going to say? Totally not the same thing, and I'm not going to rifle through the tabs on my phone, but my wife found a site, the name Arcane is in it, but you can simulate ripping a collector booster box of whatever. As sets come out and cards are released, this site and whatever software they have, you can open card by card. You just kind of scroll down and I don't know. It scratches that itch. Same thing.
Does it really scratch that itch, though?
Just enough to where I'm like, this is out. I don't have money to get this. I don't want to go anywhere. It's late at night. And she'll be like, hey, I'm going to rip a box. You should rip one too and see. And then they rate it. Okay, this is below MSRP, or you got way over what this box is worth.
Sure.
And you see all your cards on descending order of what they're worth and blah, blah, blah. And it'll just say, God tier box, you outperformed whatever. Terrible box, this or that, and anything in between. It's fun. It's quick. It's like a 5-minute thing where I'm like, I can't leave right now for various reasons at home, or I'm at work, or I have a few minutes to just, it's just been an addict sounding thing, but it's fun. It is.
It fixes that fix.
Yes, very briefly. So I need to do something with MTG right now, and this is the only 120 seconds I have.
When I have those moments where I need to do something with MTG, it's always sorting cards. It's the never-ending job of sorting cards.
Yeah. I'm behind on sorting, which I like to be a little bit behind on sorting all the time, so I'm not caught up on stuff, because then I'm like, now what do? Do I just make a new deck for shits and giggles? I don't have anything in my head. I don't want to just slapdash something and be like, here's some kitchen table vintage. I don't even know how it's going to perform.
Now, just for reference for all of our audience out there, is that John and I approach Magic from very different angles. I'm an old school collector from 1994, and I literally have not played a serious game of Magic in probably a decade. Tonight might be the very first time that we do that. So we're getting together with some of our friends to do a little something called Winston drafting. And we'll talk more about that after John goes check on his beer. Through the power of editing, you don't realize, but we just took another brew break to go check on the beer. The pub ale is doing just fine. Well, you work on your lunch here a little bit. I'll talk a little bit about that Winston draft, which is, I think, is where we ended off with on the last segment. So Winston draft. Now, first up, I highly recommend that you look up Tellurian Community College and look for the professor's explanation of what a Winston draft is. He does a way better job of explaining what a Winston draft is, but basically what it is, you have a pile of cards, you put it into 3 piles, you look at the first pile, you can either decide to draft that card or put it down and add another card to it, and then go to the second pile and look at it. And then if you go through all 3 piles, then you just take the top card off that card, and you have to take that card.
And I'm excited for this. Will sent me this particular video from the professor that he's talking about right now yesterday, because I haven't done a draft in any format in such a long time. So sorry to bust up your momentum. I'm just excited to do what you're explaining.
Yeah. So Alec and I, who's one of our game group people, we experimented with it a little bit, but he'll be there tonight to help us through it. But also we're going to be doing a legacy draft pool. So basically all those cards at the end of the night, instead of just being chucked into our collection, they have to remain separate and they become part of a legacy pool. So as we keep playing the games, your pool grows bigger and bigger, and you get to build a legacy deck out of that. And so once we get past 3 sessions, the night will go that you play 2 rounds with through the normal Winston draft, but then that 3rd round you play using your legacy pool. So you build a deck out of that legacy pool from all the cards that you add. And each time that you do it, you try to draft a new set to try to intermix new cards into it. And it really cuts down on the fact that, like, you have your magic pool and I have my magic pool, but then we're really running down into a lot of issues, especially when you're dealing with 60 card formats, that who's got the more expensive collection, who's got the really big toys, because the person with the dual lands is probably going to have a little bit of an edge over everybody else. And this eliminates that, but still allows for an expanding pool of magic cards to keep going.
Very excited. Chewing a chicken nugget,
Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a very busy day. And so first off, big shout out to my co-host here, John, for taking me in today. Just because of the fact, number one, he's brewing pub ale, and we're watching our kids at the same time, and we're trying to get through a ton of other stuff and get ready for game night tonight. I have watched John multitask in ways that I have never seen a man multitask before. So it was quite the show.
Happy to be an example. We do our best. We try.
Yeah. Let me see what else is going on in the nerd culture world. Big news for the Fallout fans out there. Aaron Paul is joining the cast of season 3 for Fallout. I am super excited this. For those of you guys who don't know, Aaron Paul played Jesse in Breaking Bad, who was the breakout hit character that wasn't supposed to make it past season 1, but was so popular, made it all the way to the end. And in fact, was the only one to survive out of the main crew. Saul Goodman ended up surviving that one too, but ended up in prison for all of his life. Jesse got away with it. Oh, spoilers.
I haven't finished the series, but it's been spoiled for me before. It does not detract from at some point, someday, I will finish that damn show.
So yeah, that's big news on the Fallout front there. What other geek news is out there right now?
What did I read yesterday? Oh, for the first time in decades, both Doctor Who and Star Trek will not have any upcoming projects for the foreseeable future.
Boo. Actually, I'm okay with Doctor Who. And don't get me wrong, Doctor Who is a quasi-religion to me. I was raised on Doctor Who. I was there when the 4th Doctor was airing here in the U.S., and Doctor Who has been like part of my life forever. And right behind Fallout, it is one of my favorite sci-fi franchises out there. And just the last, and this is no way in accounting for all the great acting that has happened. And they have had some wonderful performers and actors on that show doing the best that they could, but the writing just got super lazy and all over the place. And it was like they were going after splashy effects and not good storylines.
Which doctor, I guess I'll go by that marker, which doctor or which series numbered do you think that kind of went on
the slide started at 9, and don't get me wrong, 9 is one of my favorite ones.
Is that Matt Smith?
No, not 9. It was 10. Yeah, it was Matt Smith is when it really started. I don't think Steve Moffat is responsible for some of the greatest individual stories that Doctor Who ever saw, such as Blink was one of his more famous ones. The Doctor Dances, I believe he was also the lead writer on. But as a head writer, I felt his stories were too chewy, too grandiose. It was like all about always saving the world, or the universe was going to collapse if this didn't end this way. And it was so convoluted and so twisted, and just every finish felt like it was a rush to the finish line. It really started with Matt Smith, which really sucked because I felt that Peter Capaldi really got the shaft out of that one, because he was like the perfect old school doctor. He brought back that old school Doctor Who mentality. And then what was her name that came after Capaldi? I can't remember what her name is off the top of my head, because that's kind of when I stopped watching. And I'm sorry, and she's a fantastic actress. I've watched a lot of her movies. I enjoyed what she did with the role, or what she did with the scripts in Doctor Who. It's like I said, it's just the stories weren't memorable. And again, it was all coming down to the fact that the universe was going to blow up and end, but it was, they were missing the street level episodes.
If you don't have those single serving episodic ones for breaks.
Yeah.
And for fun and whimsy.
Yes. Yeah, not every, and someone was talking about this. A lot of streaming shows, the 8-episode thing is killing a lot of episodes, because you just can't build that story, and you don't have those filler episodes that you used to have that really let you flesh out the characters and stuff.
Changing tack to Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, that I think they just filmed the last season. Boo. Really like that show. They went back to the old TOS model, where you do have some episode arcs, but by and large, they're single-serving episodes.
Yep.
And it's fun. It can still be hard-hitting emotionally and all that, but they're, by the end, you know you're done. You're like, whew, all right.
Strange New Worlds was a really bad blow. There was only one episode that I really didn't like, but a lot of people did like it, so credit where credit is due. And that, you know which episode I'm talking about.
I have forgotten which one.
No, you should just know. There's just one episode that really, you either really loved it, or
the musical?
The musical. Yep. You either really loved that one or you really hated that one. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure for people who like musicals, that was probably, it was probably a great episode. Musicals aren't my thing. And that's just my personal taste. There was nothing wrong with the episode, but it was just like Breaking Bad had that episode with The Fly. And, you know,
I like that they tried it.
Yes. Yeah. I'm happy that they tried it. And they liked it, but then they tried replicating that in Doctor Who during the 15th Doctor's run, and it just fell flat. There's a little bit about our favorite television shows that are out there. So I do want to talk about some of our role-playing stuff, because we talked a little bit about role-playing last time. So I was at the Source the other day, and I noticed that there was this role-playing game that really caught my eye, because at first I was like, why is this pamphlet for the nursing home sitting on the shelf of all the role-playing games? And I started looking at it, and it was called, what was it called? It was called Green Oaks. And it's supposed to be like a real tongue-in-cheek role-playing game about these quirky seniors living in a nursing home and solving mysteries, kind of like the Scooby-Doo gang, but they're in walkers and their dentures. I haven't told Gary this yet, but I did buy him a couple copies.
You did?
Yes, I did. So this might be our next adventure after we're done with our Star Trek stuff.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
When you sent that to me right away, I'm like, why did he send me wait a minute. That's the Source in the background. And then I zoomed in. I'm like, got it. Okay.
So I'm really curious, because I like real quirky indie role-playing games, and I think that they don't get enough attention. So I'm very curious to see how this one plays out. We're going to find out.
If that could be the next campaign after Star Trek, that would be fun and hilarious, and might actually give me time to, if I feel comfortable with it, come up with a Dune-focused campaign.
Oh, good. Yeah, I know we were talking about Dune on the last podcast.
I know. Gary keeps like, here, look at this. I have this too. I'm like, I'm not ready yet, but maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably do Dune, but I have a feeling that we need a little bit of a break in between. So we've been on this real heavy Star Trek one. Not like a traditional Star Trek adventure. So we're planet bound and we're stuck on this planet in our current campaign and we're trying to get off. It uses all the lore and the mythos of Star Trek, but it's not rooted in, we're not in a spaceship flying around. We're all stranded on this planet trying to figure our way off of it.
Yeah.
And I think we ended the last episode that we're pretty close.
We were like on the cusp, so close. So I think, I don't know. I'm not the GM. Only Gary knows how much more we have to go, but it's seeming like it's getting close.
Yeah. And this was a unique invention by our game master and leader of our crew, Gary. He did a fantastic job writing the storyline and the scenarios out, and I'm sure we threw him some loops.
It is. It's dense. It's nice.
It was really nice. And we had a lot of good characters in this one that really meshed well. Watching you and Alex's character together and watching me and Chris's character develop together and then Brian and Tim's character to develop together. It's like we all have our special partner, but we all still work to complement each other.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that.
And it being my first time doing one of these, and you guys are gracious enough to let me enter the fold,
No offense, but bringing in a guy who can bring in an unlimited supply of beer it's a pretty easy win.
I'm a nerd too, geez. You asking me to join, it's like, yeah, I'll think about it. Sounds cool. And then you said that you were in the middle of a Star Trek one. I'm like, done. I will. Yeah, you guys weren't too far into it, so it's not like I was completely lost. Oh, shit, what do I do? It took a couple sessions, but I caught on.
Yeah, and we do a lot more sci-fi than high fantasy. We've done Star Trek. We've done, what's that one movie with Harrison Ford with they're not synths, but they're kind of like synths.
Oh my God, Blade Runner.
Yeah, it's Blade Runner. We did a Blade Runner, and Chris ran that campaign, and he did a fantastic job at that. I was more interested in that campaign than I was the movies. He did a really fantastic job with that one. And then before that, we had the traditional Star Trek one, and we did Fallout 2 for a little while too. So I ran that one. And most of those were Modifius's 2D20 set, which is what we're good with.
I hope we stick with that mode of playing, because if we switch to another, I'm like, oh man, I gotta get used to a new one now. I will. I think I adapt well. I hope. Yeah.
Let's switch topics here and let's talk about some upcoming events that are happening at the tap room here at 9 Mile. And first off, we don't have one scheduled for June, but we should be back in July. But Mid-Coast Gaming, which is part of Beerploma, we do a monthly board game sommelier program. So I'll be down here once a month with a whole treasure trove of board games, and we're here to help you find your new favorite board game. So be sure to check out 9milebrewing.com/events for more information on when the next one is coming up, or you can also visit us at beerploma.com for our end of it too. But it's basically the same information for the board game sommelier program. But looking at your guys' list of events, July 22nd, you have the Vinyl Jacket Records pop-up. Always wanted to get into records, so I might have to show up for that one. And then also on July 19th, we've talked about this one in our first episode, so feel free to go back to the first episode to listen to more about these guys. But the Wild Mushroom class is back by the Gentleman Forager. And that's July 19th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And if you want any more information on upcoming events at 9 Mile, please again visit 9milebrewing.com/events.
If you're a mushroom head into work-safe mushrooms, they are a fantastic resource to learn about foraging, what to do with them when you get them. They even have some tips on how to utilize the mushrooms in cooking and everything associated with it.
Cool. And I think we're going to take a quick station break here, and we are going to come back and have some beer.
Yes, we are.
All right, we're getting set up here for our beer tasting here. But before we get into this, I do have a little bit of a surprise for you.
Oh?
I believe that when you were over at my house last, we were in the basement playing some Jumpstart.
Jumpstart with Avatar.
Yes, we were playing Jumpstart Avatar, and you had mentioned that one of your love languages is chips.
Chips? Yes.
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 So one of the things about one of my nerd spheres is I like to collect international Pringles. And I just so happen to have a sister that has done a lot of world traveling this year. And she has brought me back Pringles from Korea, I believe there's a batch coming from Greece here pretty soon.
Ooh,
But her last batch that she got me was from Norway.
really?
Oh,
This.
and so here I've got some cream cheese herb flavored Pringles, and I'm gonna put
Man.
I am going to put a picture of this onto our Instagram page. So look us up at Beerploma on Instagram. So if you guys want to see what the container looks like, but we are going to crack this open. We're going to have a little ASMR moment here.
Yes, there'll be some crunching.
I hope you enjoy them. You are welcome to take whatever is left of the canister with you and share them, or don't share them at your leisure.
Cream cheese and herbs. Yes, yes, please. Or yeah, get that. Oh, yeah. There it is.
So I'll let you go ahead and dive in there first and try those out.
Okay, let's do 2, partial of 2.
You do have to remember these sat in somebody's suitcase all the way back from Norway. So yes,
smell. Very herby. Doing some chip sommelier.
Oh, that was a good crunch. You had the way better crunch than I did. The second one was John.
This honestly tastes like green chive and onion cream cheese.
Yep.
That I would put on a bagel. Yum.
Now, one thing I did notice, and I do have a couple of the Korean ones left, is that they make theirs with a higher percentage of rice flour. And so there's a very different texture to it, especially when you compare them to these ones, which have more potato starch or potato flour in it.
I love rice flour incorporation.
All right, I'm going to try one more of these. Do you always, when you eat your Pringles, do you eat them upside down so you get the flavor on your palate more, or?
I need to grab one. I don't even know. I duck bill it, at least.
I get way more of the flavor when I eat them upside down like that.
Yeah. Hold
on. You have the perfect crunch, man. If this brewery thing doesn't work out for you, you could just go do ASMR videos. That'll make a killing out of it.
So in front of you, you have a potato chip. You're going to put it in your mouth. And you're going to bite down and crunch on it. Like,
they're really good. I like those.
They are good.
So one of the things that people don't know is that the reason why you get all these standard flavors here in the US is because of the fact that companies are willing to put out 100 products that are mediocre as long as they don't offend anybody. You don't find that mentality. Even when you hit places like Canada, you'll get all dressed in ketchup flavor.
Oh, all dressed anything. Yep.
And you'll get all these different varietals and stuff like that because not every flavor is meant for every person. Or here in the US, our mentality is that every flavor has to be for every person. And even if it's just everybody gets mediocre and nobody gets what they really want.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy like all these different Pringles that we got. Some of the Korean ones were amazing. The salted caramel was really good.
International Doritos too. Ooh.
I did get a sneak preview at some of the Pringles that I'm getting from this next batch from Greece. And one of them is tzatziki, which is one of my absolute favorite flavors in the world. So
EXE file broken. That sounds yum. I don't even have words. Just yum.
Yep. Oh, have you tried any of the new Lay's flavors that came out for the World Cup?
Yes, I've tried. Oh God, what is it? French. I brought some to a game night last game night. It was French onion in the ruffle format, like ripples, ridges.
But the other one is the one that I want you to talk about.
Oh, the garlic one?
The garlic one. I've been really trying to cut back on my potato chip consumption. I used to sit down and be able to clear a bag in a night watching a movie or something like that.
Yeah,
I have not done that.
That's still me.
That garlic one, I could do that.
I would like to rename that to Oops All Garlic because damn.
They were probably the best potato chip I have ever eaten, but it still could have used more garlic.
Oh, of course. It's always good.
There's no such thing as too little.
There's not.
Garlic.
You measure with your heart.
Yep.
If a recipe calls for 10, you might put 30 in, whatever.
Garlic has one thing in common with vanilla. And that's when I see it in a recipe, I assume it's a suggestion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. At least on the garlic part.
Yeah.
But it's okay. This says slivered garlic. Can I sliver it, slice it, mince it, and then add some roasted garlic paste I made to it? Why not? We need layers of garlic, people.
Absolutely. By the way, did you know, speaking of garlic, did you know that scene in Goodfellas where they're slicing the garlic really thin and he talks about it liquefying in the pan? You know, that's an absolute myth. You can't liquefy the garlic that way.
I haven't seen it do that when I've sliced it thin.
It's still one of my favorite scenes in the
movie magic.
In that whole movie, that the whole prison scene is just so well done.
I haven't seen Goodfellas in a long time.
Oh,
but it's not where you're just flipping through channels like, oh, Goodfellas is on.
Yep. Yeah. But I would say that is by far and away my favorite gangster movie.
It's a good one. I'm Godfather.
Godfather's a little too chewy for me.
I love it. People are like, the second one's better. I'm like, yes, I can see that, but I'm a sucker for an origin story.
Yeah.
The origin story of Vito Corleone is in the second one. So I might have to just take back my words there, but I just liked the first one a little better. 2 is great. 3, no thanks.
So are you telling me that Star Wars is better than Empire?
You mean A New Hope? Nah, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine.
I'm on the Empire train there. I know a lot of people are. It might be passé to say, but it's just so good. Anyway, we got beer in front of us.
Let's drink some beer.
So, the 4 things I have for you today are, I have our Leisurely Lemon, which is our shandy. We do a beer here that's called Leisurely Stroll, and it's something I've dubbed an easy ale. I kind of borrowed the term easy from another brewery out of Ohio. Rheingeist, they do an easy beer, or at least they used to. I just like the term easy. I'm like, well, I'm not going to call it easy beer. That's just too on the nose. But I wanted just a straightforward, no BS ale that had just a wisp of fruity esters to it, but mostly drinks completely clear, crisp, and clean. It's also a great beer I can prop yeast out of to use for my other beers, so it serves kind of 2 purposes. Leisurely Stroll is that beer. I took part of that beer, split batched it, did half regular Stroll, and half of it I added some Sicilian lemon to try to come up with a shandy.
So why did you choose the Sicilian lemon versus a more traditional lemon?
I like the nuance in Sicilian lemon. Rather, I like lemon anything, but Sicilian lemon does tend to be a little softer, rounder, and a little bit floral too. A tiny bit. If you're going to drink them side by side in their pure form, you're not going to be able to tell the difference really, but in a format like this, it is a little softer. It is a little rounder, and it's not as abrasive. It's still there. You smell it. That's Sicilian.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely smelling it.
But
so.
It is still beer. It is still a shandy.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like this. It's one of the better shandies on the market.
It's just so clean. I don't like some shandies I've had have a little bit of a sweet component too, or I don't personally like that, so I don't back sweeten it with anything, or I don't choose a grist or malt bill that has sweeter components to it. I want it to mostly dry out. You have that underlying little bit of fruity esters that are probably going to get lost with the lemon, but I feel like the Sicilian lemon with that just tiny bit of nondescript fruitiness from the yeast blends together really nicely to a cohesive project.
So what's the ABV on this one?
I'd have to look at the board. Give me a second.
Is it going to be less than? Is it going to be less than 4?
No,
not less than 4.
No, I think it's 4.8 or 4.9. If
that's pretty high for a shade.
Staring at the digital board right now,
I'd still call this a lawnmower beer.
I would like to make even lower strength stuff, but it just doesn't. Unfortunately, doesn't sell. There's a renaissance of stuff like that, especially to our neighbors in the north, Canada, where they call it mid-strength.
Yeah.
Where it is things between 3 and 4%. And there are ways to get pretty full, not full-bodied, but there's enough of a backbone behind it to where you don't feel like you're just drinking literally flavored water, because that is pretty low ABV. But there are ways around that to make it an experience on your palate where you're not just drinking thin flavored whatever. So getting people to actually buy those things, it's becoming a little more palatable, pun intended. I intended my pun that time. Did you catch that, Will?
Yes, I did.
But anyway, I guess you could call it the trend of lower or mid-strength, however you want to describe it, those kind of beers is slowly catching on. Because nowadays people are looking for lower ABV. They're looking for beers that can have more than 1 or 2 and not feel full.
They're looking for a social beer.
Yeah, full or too buzzed or drunk or any. Yeah, you want endurance. You want to have a couple. And also, if you like the taste and smell and mouthfeel of a beer that's too big and you're just not the person that can handle your booze, no shame. I can't really nowadays. Then you're not going to want to have more than 1 or 2 of those, because you're going to have to call an Uber, a Lyft, get a ride home, or like shit. So lower ABV things are coming back into vogue. Things that are less bombastic and have 5 million flavors in it are coming back into vogue.
Yeah, I really feel that about 5 years ago, it was really all about the pastry stouts. It was about real heavy, big booze bombs. And I know you still have your Shardic Expression line.
Yeah.
That's still up there.
There's a place for them.
There's a place for it. But
like you said, not a lot of places are having 2, 3, or 4 of those on at a time. Unless there are a couple places that's their niche and people know that and they go there for those things. But yeah, other than a specific brewery that they're known for having 2 or 3 of those things on where it's just an adjunct bomb. Not my thing. I know plenty of people that is their thing and they really enjoy it. No shade. Everyone chooses their own adventure.
The only one I really love that I go out of my way for is Commander from Liftbridge. The one with the coffee added to it.
Yeah.
And granted, that's not exactly a pastry stout, but it's the heavy booze bomb, real sweet beer, but tons of coffee notes to it. It's almost like the perfect blend of coffee and beer.
I love coffee notes and putting actual coffee in beer. I'm kind of slacking right now. I don't have one on tap. I kind of like to have one on. I wouldn't even say half the time, maybe a third of the time, and I'm due for one, and not just coffee stouts, coffee porters, whatever. I like to put coffee in lighter things. I've done coffee kolsches.
Oh, I remember the coffee kolsch.
Yes, yes. There are things that lend well. You have a lighter hand with the coffee, obviously, but you get more of the coffee out of it because if you're adding coffee to stouts and porters, you're already fighting, maybe not fighting with the grain bill. You got those complementary notes, but you might not be able to tell the difference between what you're getting from the coffee, what you're getting from the malt. They marry well, they blend well, but if you're going to put coffee in a lighter format like a Kolsch, you know where you're getting those coffee notes from.
Yep.
It is the coffee.
Yep.
Without me just blah, blah, blah in here, we can move on to the next one. This one is called Breakfast Salad. So we've made this at least once. I can't remember if it's been twice. This is our brunch IPA. We've brewed this before.
Oh.
Yeah, for Pride Month, which we are currently in. So this is it's a sour IPA, but we call it a brunch IPA.
But for those of you who are a little bit wary of sour beers, I just want you to know that the sour really blends in extremely well with almost a creaminess to the beer. It's a very light sour. It is noticeable, but it's not overwhelming where you feel like you're sucking on a raw lemon.
I would say tart.
Yeah. And it's so well blended. I didn't know an IPA could do this.
Yeah. So this is the brainchild of my former, I still call him my production life partner. He has since moved on to another brewery.
Which would make sense for a Pride Month beer.
Yeah. But this was his brainchild, and it is not a standard IPA malt bill, but very similar. It's got a little more nuance and backbone to it. And then layered on it in differing points in the process is key lime, mango, and carrot orange.
And it came out with...
And not a lot of it either, of the three. Just
a little bit.
Dollop.
It comes off as almost mimosa-ish. I know that's a new word.
Hence the brunch part of the brunch IPA.
It does kind of give the same vibes that a mimosa does.
Yeah. What else is in here? And it is hopped with everyone's still favorite golden child, Citra. I always have mixed feelings on Citra, but when it hits, when it's in the right project, it really, you don't have a substitute for it. And then oh my God, Nectaron, I believe? Yes. Which is a Southern Hemisphere hop from Australia that gives off heavy notes of pineapple and then undernotes of ripe mango and then a couple other nondescript stone fruit things, but really punchy on the pineapple.
This beer is almost like a wonderful contradiction onto itself. It's smooth, but it's got that tartness to it. It is heavy on the mouthfeel, but doesn't finish heavy. It's just got your palate going all over the place, but in the best way possible.
Indeed. Very quickly, y'all, I need to, speaking of beer, run back and check that I am almost done with my knockout beer going into a ferment.
Okay, is that this one?
Yes. Okay. It should be the last one in the row.
Well, we don't really need to talk about this one. This one is always on tap at 9 Mile. So if you really want to check this one out, and this is the beer that we brewed today. That's why I insisted this would be on the show.
Yeah.
But this is, by the way, we talked about it earlier in the episode. I will just say this is the beer that made me fall in love with 9 Mile. It actually opened the door for us to be here today because back when we were doing blogs, I pronounced this as the best new beer I've had in the year, whatever year it was. And your guys' social media manager picked up on it and posted it. And I was like, hey, you guys want to collaborate and do a podcast? And we did an episode of Wandering the Weekend where we interviewed you and Bob and then talked all about pub ale. So this was like my gateway beer into the 9 Mile world. And without this beer and how amazing this beer is, none of this would be possible today.
It's funny how life works
So
sometimes.
let's pros to that. So the best way I can describe this one, it's very bready, a little bit of sweetness to it, a little bit of chocolate notes to it. But just overall, when you are thinking about the traditional pub ale at a British pub, this is what you're thinking about right here. And it is probably the closest to a European British pub style beer that I've ever had on this side of the pond, as they like to say.
We could do some bonus beer content after this. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the ESB that I made. Speaking of British beers.
That's not the first time you've done that. I've had your ESB.
It's the second time. The fun part is the yeast strain I use for this is something I can't really reuse, which I like to do. The very short version of this is yeast can be reused and or recycled to pitch into multiple things. If you get a really good strain, it can go over many projects. This one is not one of those. This is a very specific, singular, targeted kind of yeast strain. It's called, shout out to one of my suppliers, Omega Yeast out of Chicago. And this is their British 7 or British Ale 7 strain. And this is just one of the myriad of English or British strains they have, but this one specifically is called their Cask Ale strain. Now, this is not on cask, but you're going to get all the hallmarks of a beer that if you had it on cask in the 40s or 50s Fahrenheit with lower carb, you're going to get all that out of this format that is fully carbed and served at a temperature that you would normally see at a brewery. You're going to get a little more complexity, maybe a bit of minerality, everything that you already mentioned too. I get a little bit of Tootsie Roll, and I don't mean chewing on an actual Tootsie Roll, but the suggestion of one.
That chocolate.
A smidge of coffee. Speaking of coffee.
And for those who like a darker beer but don't want really heavy beer, this is the great middle ground.
It is.
It's not that high in ABV. It's a very reasonable ABV. You can have more than one. It's a very sessionable beer.
Yeah.
For as dark as it is, and it's dark, roasty. It's just going to check all those boxes that you want from a darker beer without being that heavy booze bomb that a lot of darker beers come with.
Speaking of a few minutes ago, we were talking about lower mid-strength beers. This one is 4.1, so it is a little bit over that cusp of that little narrow window we were talking about ABV range, but this one still retains enough body, but like you said, it's also not heavy. It skirts many lines and just kind of tight ropes.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that will always be one of my favorite beers. I love that beer. It's just got the most wonderful palate and it checks all the boxes.
It's one of my favorite to drink, and not just mine. If I see an English mild anywhere on any tap lists around here or even in a package format, the rare times I go to a liquor store now, I will pick one up because I like dark milds. This is also one of my favorite ones to brew, like we did today. This was a little different because we're running all over the place, but I've made this enough to where I felt comfortable wearing a bunch of hats today, doing this, brewing at the same time, watching kiddos.
So for those of you guys who don't know, John and I we're both fathers, and summertime, school's out, so we need our kids to do something. So every once in a while, we'll meet up at the brewery here, and we'll let the kids run around in the event space while we do our work.
And it's great. They have that whole event space to do whatever. Sing, play tag with each other. It's only been a couple times they've been together in that kind of format there, but it's already the imagination. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
And they get along very well. The last thing on our docket.
Now, this is a beer style that it kind of had a little bit of a heyday way back in, I would probably say the mid 2010s.
Yeah.
Right when the IPAs were like at their highest craze, but people weren't looking for the hazy IPAs. They were looking for the real hoppy. They wanted to open up a bottle and pour out crushed hops. And then this kind of came out to be like the perfect world between dark beers and those hoppy beers. And it's a dark IPA or a Cascadian IPA. I've heard it called 1,000 different names.
I call it a CDA and a black IPA both because regionally, if you're out in the Pacific Northwest, this is a CDA or a Cascadian dark. And speaking of the PNW, that's kind of where this originated. And as it goes, because we're in the center of the country, we get onto trends and styles and really anything last when it comes to the beer industry. Like you mentioned, that time frame is kind of when they started catching on. People were getting brave, as it were, to try to do a black IPA or a CDA. And they did catch on for that brief glimmer of time. It didn't fade out completely, but they're in definitely the cosmic microwave background, as it were.
I remember the very first one I had was out of steel toe. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Oh God. Why am I blanking on that?
I want to say it was the name of
Douglas.
Yes, Douglas fir. Yeah,
Yep,
Douglas fir. I was going to say it was the name of a tree, and yeah, you're right. It was Douglas fir.
That was the first local one I've had as well. And yeah, go ahead.
Not to throw shade at Steel Toe, which is an amazing brewery in its own right, but this is...
I'll get into why this sets apart even from CDAs and black IPAs here. This is called Midnight Fade for a reason. I brew this to release on 420. And for those that we're all of an age and now we know what 420 means. It's a national holiday to some. And I just thought, I want a 420 beer. I'm going to make a CDA or black IPA, and I'm going to add terpenes to it.
But, okay, so what are terpenes?
So terpenes are volatile compounds that give off flavors or aromas of X, Y, or Z. So specifically in this, I can I don't produce them. I can order them from my supplier, who I have a good relationship with. They're called, shout out to Abstracts out on the West Coast. They started out in the cannabis industry, providing high quality oils and stuff for vape carts in legal states. And then they started to, because hops and cannabis are cousins, botanically speaking, that they figured they could get into the brewing space, or at least try to. So they did a big push for it and ended up kind of doing their big national debut when we had the Craft Brewing Conference, which is one of the big ones that's nationwide. We hosted it here in 22. And I'd been working with them very briefly before that, but they have a couple different product lines. One of them is called Brew Gas. Gas as in, yes, gassy, skunky, those kind. So these terpenes are cannabis derived, but they are not cannabis. There's no psychoactive compound. It is not weed.
Yeah.
But they are true to type smelling. So I added a couple of those from the Brew Gas line in this beer. Super Sour Diesel, King Louis XIII, Blackberry Kush, and Gelato. So little bits of everything. There's a little more of some and less. And then, because it is a cascading darker black IPA, a metric shit ton of Cascade hops from a couple different sources. One is pretty true to type, like classic Cascade as you can get. It's a good mix of pine, floral, and grapefruit. And then another version of Cascade I got a little bit pithier and grapefruitier because I wanted it to blend with the roasted malts, with the terpenes. So this thing, some people say if they're ordering it and they're pouring at the tap, and it's not a far ways away from the tap to the bar, but it's also not short, they can smell it coming out of the tap. So it is aromatically robust.
Yeah, it is extremely aromatic. But what's funny about this one is that it doesn't taste like it should be this dark.
No.
It's extremely well balanced.
There's a reason for that. Thank you for mentioning that.
There we go.
So to achieve the color and keep your roasted malts, aromatics, and flavors down so they aren't too bitter, too assertive, you add them at a certain point in the brewing process where you're not extracting everything out of it. You're getting all the color, but you're only getting a modicum of all the roasted character out of it. It's there, but like you said, by looking at it, you would assume, oh my God, it's going to be tons of chocolate and coffee. And
if my eyes were closed and I was sipping this, I would have pictured it to be a little bit more hazy, but like on the darker end of the golden spectrum. That's what I would, if I was closing my eyes and then drinking this, that's what I would have expected out of this.
It's a mind F, as it were. And I like it that way. And I like releasing it on that day. And these things move, or at least here, this one, it'll, in the rest of April, it goes, and then it slows down, and it might last. I think we're towards the tail end of this. So it's on for a perfect amount of time. And then it goes away until next 420.
I really enjoy this one. I'm shocked because I love all beers. There isn't a beer style out there that I won't try and won't drink. There are certain ones that I avoid mostly because of the high ABV and I'm usually driving.
Curiosity will get the better of you sometimes.
But like this one, I could sit down at my fireplace and just pound these one after the other.
It is a good camping beer or something to sit around a fire.
This is just this beer. And I know just because it's a darker beer, it's also in the IPA line that it's going to have its detractors because of those two things.
Sure.
But really, at the end of the day, if you really love creative styles of beer and you want to try something that's out of the box and doesn't really necessarily fit into a particular style, this is a wonderful blend of just the passion of brewing.
This
is a love letter to.
It is. They're hard to pull off in that sense. We're adding those roasted malts at the right time. You add them too early, you're going to get too much into stout or porter territory, maybe not mouthfeel, but aromatics and flavors. If you add it too late, you're not going to extract the color you need out of it, and it might look dark brown to the point where you can see through it. Not quite. Some CDAs are dark brown. It is a choose your own adventure as far as the color, but as long as it's leaning, it's really dark brown and getting into a hue of black, some hue of black or really dark brown. The one I made last year lacked a teeny bit of that color because, of course, I was trying to multitask and I missed adding it literally by 3 minutes on my timer. And I missed that just smidge of a hue of color.
Sure.
It wasn't enough for me to go, oh dear. But I'm overly critical and hard on myself because it's my job.
And that's why your beer is so good.
Thank you. But that's just to illustrate, like, you miss the time frame by that much on some of these projects where you need a specific thing to do a specific thing at the right time that you could end up messing it up if you're not paying attention.
This one is such a sleeper hit for me. I have a little tidgetisms, and so I like to rank things. And if I were to take a list of the 9 Mile beers that I've had, which is probably approaching 100 at this point, I would put this in my top 5.
Oh,
so this is
awesome.
And I'm not the biggest IPA fan. That's my wife who's really big into the IPAs. Not that I hate them. I don't avoid them. It's just
not your thing.
I prefer other things to them.
It's not the first thing you'd go for.
Yeah, it's not the first thing. Pilsner is the first thing I go for usually. But that is such a sleeper hit, and it is just so wonderfully balanced but still robust, but light on the mouthfeel. Leaves a nice, good lingering taste to it. I could picture myself just sitting at my chimenea outside my backyard and downing a crowler of
Good
that.
word too, chimenea.
So I love that beer. In fact, I would even say might even put it at my top 3.
If you want to take some home, we have some.
I got to admit, so being the fact that was brewed for 420, head out to 9 Mile here out in Bloomington and grab yourself a pint of this, because this just blew my mind. This was just something I wasn't expecting today, but yet it was so well done, so well balanced, and just exactly, it would fit so many different situations. Certain beers have certain situations, like darker, heavier beers taste better in winter than they do in the middle on a 120-degree day. But this one I could drink like all year round. It is so well balanced, just everything about it just.
It breaks perceptions. That's another fun thing about it.
It does. And it is a wonderful beer. That was a wonderful surprise that I was not expecting today.
Yeah, if anyone's feeling adventurous or double adventurous in this case, you're feeling bored or curious, this is definitely the beer to try. Subvert expectations.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap for today, isn't it?
I think so. We didn't really get to the playing a game or describing that portion, but
yeah, we'll do that
I think
we're
good for now. Next time, if my daughter and I can find the game at our house, we were trying to. I do have a game to bring that we'll be easily able to play it while we do this, and it's really fun. It's intro, getting into like TCG for her age. I think I probably mentioned this on the last episode because back when we did this, a month or more ago, we had just got this thing, and now she's borderline addicted to it. She wants to play it all the time.
Love it.
Yes.
So with that being said, that is all from Bloomington, Minnesota. Again, we are here at 9 Mile Brewing. Don't forget to check out 9milebrewing.com for a list of all the events and all the wonderful beers that are made here. And also don't forget to check out at beerploma.com. We're also scattered all over social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook for sure. So be sure to check us out there too. Again, just look up 9 Mile Brewing or Beerploma and find out more about us. And if you guys are interested in tabletop gaming of any sort, be sure to check out Mid-Coast Gaming. We do magic events at local breweries all over the South Metro and beyond. And also we have that board game sommelier program that's down here once a month.
Tabletop gaming, tabletop gaming, more analog stuff.
That's all from 9 Mile today.
Thank you, Will, for coming out again and coming on a Friday where things get interesting because we open earlier, and I typically don't brew on Fridays, but as we mentioned already, with it's being summer and kiddos are out of school, having to shift schedule here and there, Friday brew days are probably going to be a thing for a minute.
All
that
right.
is A-okay.
That's all from 9 Mile. Prost.
Cheers, y'all.